Welcome. In this video, Onyx V2 on XCN is coming soon. Pump coming? We will analyze it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and please watch till the end to understand.
Before looking at Onyx V2, let's analyze XCN.
One of the most important elements to consider when performing technical analysis in cryptocurrency markets is the formation of downtrend structures that occur when price moves downward over a period of time and consistently gets rejected from certain peak levels. These types of structures serve as both a warning and an opportunity for investors. When an asset is suppressed by a descending trend line for an extended period, it indicates that most market participants are not yet sufficiently motivated to buy. However, if this trend is broken to the upside, it could signal the beginning of significant momentum. At this point, the strength of the downtrend is crucial. If the trend structure is long-term, lasting for several months or even years, its breakout can occur with considerable volume, often followed by large price movements. Upon close inspection of the chart, it becomes evident that price movements have been forming lower highs over time, clearly indicating a downward bias. This structure reflects deteriorating investor psychology, where buyers are selling earlier with each rally, and sellers continue to apply pressure on the market. However, in such cases, price usually initiates an attack toward the descending trend line after finding sufficient support in a specific bottom region. If this attack is backed by strong volume, the likelihood of breaking the downtrend increases. A downtrend breakout should not only be defined by price moving above the trend line, but also confirmed through a retest when the price returns to the broken trend line to test it as support and then reacts upward.
I'm interrupting the video for a moment, friends, because BitTunix Exchange has a great campaign. Here's how it works. After registering on the exchange via the link in the description and completing KYC, if you deposit $100 for your first deposit, you will receive a $20 bonus. If you deposit $500, you'll receive a $100 bonus. And if you deposit $1,000, you will receive a $200 bonus. I think this is an excellent opportunity for leverage trading. For more details, you can read the articles below. The link is in the description. One of the most notable structures on the chart is the series of higher lows formed consecutively by the price action. This clearly indicates that buyers are increasingly stepping in at higher levels. With each pullback, the price reacts upward without forming a lower low and encounters buyers at elevated levels. Such formations are considered a positive signal in technical analysis and indicate that the uptrend is continuing in a healthy manner. In other words, market dynamics clearly show that buyers remain strong and the price is able to resist downward pressure. The formation of higher lows means that market participants are willing to accumulate at increasingly higher levels during each correction. This behavior reflects optimism from both short-term speculators and long-term investors about the market's future. Especially when these higher lows are formed around high volume zones, it indicates that strong support levels are being established and maintained. This suggests the trend remains intact and the likelihood of upward continuation is high. In technical analysis, one of the most fundamental methods used to determine trend direction is the observation of successive highs and lows. For an uptrend to be confirmed, it's not enough for the price to simply move upward. Each subsequent low must also be higher than the previous one. This is currently the case. Even when the price experiences a decline, it does not dip below the previous low and instead finds new buying support, confirming the technical validity of the higher low formation. The continuation of higher lows also provides insight into the psychological aspect of the market. Each higher low indicates growing confidence among participants. As they believe the price won't fall and the upward movement will continue, they are not hesitant to increase their positions during pullbacks. This psychological state is important not just in terms of the chart pattern, but also in understanding market behavior. The consistent and orderly formation of higher lows on the chart gives strong confirmation of the trend's reliability. In a healthy uptrend, price doesn't just rise vertically, it climbs step by step, with corrections and renewed buying interest. Buyers stepping in at increasingly higher levels during each correction confirm that the trend is not random, but supported by strong demand. This paints an optimistic technical picture for continued upward movement. Another key aspect of higher low structures is that they allow for clearly defined stop-loss levels. Many technical analysts base their strategies on placing stops below these formations. Therefore, the consistent formation of higher lows not only indicates a sustained trend, but also allows for easier trade management thanks to the clarity and visibility of the chart patterns. Additionally, higher highs that follow these higher lows are the second crucial component of an uptrend.
The fact that both lows and highs are rising confirms not only the health but also the consistency of the trend. This further strengthens investor confidence. In such an environment, pullbacks are no longer seen as sources of fear, but rather as buying opportunities. These patterns are especially important for long-term investors. Price action that progresses with higher highs and higher lows is typically seen in the early stages of a bull trend. This phase is often where the most significant gains occur. Thus, correctly interpreting these patterns is critical not only for short-term positioning, but also for long-term portfolio building. The continuation of higher lows also signals that momentum is rising alongside price. Momentum represents the strength of a trend. If price rises but lows remain flat, the trend's strength can be questioned. However, when both lows and highs are rising, it means momentum is supporting the price, creating a technically and psychologically strong environment. In light of all these analyses, the formation of higher lows suggests that market participants have strong bullish expectations, buyers remain active, and pullbacks are merely temporary corrections. As long as the structure remains intact, meaning price does not fall below previous lows, the uptrend is technically expected to continue. This outlines a very positive scenario. Investors should be careful and conscious of such market structures and shape their strategies accordingly. Each higher low could potentially signal a new high. Therefore, correctly reading the trend, being patient, and taking positions without panic allows investors to benefit from the advantages these structures offer. If this pattern continues, further price increases can be anticipated. However, as always, it's essential to seek confirmation in technical analysis and not overlook risk management. In conclusion, the price forming higher lows with each pullback shows strong buying interest in the market and a high probability that the uptrend will continue. Price action that progresses within this kind of structure could be a promising sign of a future filled with potential gains for many investors. As such, these formations should be monitored and analyzed with great attention.
The tweet shared by XCN stating Onyx V2 is coming is a highly strategic and attention-grabbing announcement that highlights the project's approach to an important upcoming update or milestone. This tweet not only announces the arrival of the system called Onyx V2, but also signals that it is part of a broader and more comprehensive regulatory vision. The statement specifically uses the phrase "at Onyx DAO's launch aims to meet the highest compliance standards under the upcoming U.S. Clarity Act," demonstrating a strong stance on regulatory compliance. This shows that XCN clearly intends to position itself within the framework of the U.S. Clarity Act, signaling that it prioritizes legal compliance alongside technological development. The use of the term digital commodity token within a mature blockchain system in particular highlights the future positioning XCN is aiming for. The term digital commodity token typically refers to tokens that are considered digital commodities rather than securities under U.S. legal standards. This could mean fewer regulatory hurdles and potential oversight by the CFTC instead of the SEC. If XCN is positioned this way, it may gain a significant trust advantage in the market, increasing confidence among both institutional and retail investors. The CLRA Act is a proposed law in the U.S. that aims to eliminate much of the ambiguity around the legal classification of digital assets. It can make it more transparent whether crypto projects are considered securities or digital commodities. If Onyx V2 is built to meet the highest compliance standards under the CLRA Act, it could provide XCN not only with a solid legal foundation, but also make it more appealing to global investors. This is particularly important for institutional investors who often prefer to allocate capital to projects with clear legal standing. The tweet also mentions that Onyx DAO will be launched, which could imply that XCN and the Onyx ecosystem are moving towards a more robust and community-focused decentralized structure. A DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, allows a project's governance processes to be shaped through decentralized voting by participants. This means Onyx V2 may not only be a technical update, but also a governance mechanism in which the community plays a more active role. Therefore, XCN has the potential to become not just a digital asset, but also the cornerstone of a broader community and governance structure. The timing of this tweet is also notable. The global crypto market is going through a period of intensified regulation, with countries focusing heavily on legal definitions. In this environment, XCN's proactive move towards regulatory readiness shows that the project has a forward-thinking strategy. Projects that aim for long-term success must be built on strong legal as well as technological foundations. This tweet clearly reflects that XCN adopts this mindset. The V2 in Onyx V2 implies a version that is more advanced, optimized, and possibly equipped with different features than the previous version. This new version is expected to include significant improvements both technically and in terms of regulatory structure. On the technical side, faster transaction throughput, lower gas fees, enhanced security, and optimized staking and liquidity systems can be anticipated. On the regulatory side, changes such as redesigned token distribution, integration of AML KYC systems, or the creation of a framework compatible with institutional investors may come into play. Such developments could make XCN not only attractive to investors, but also to developers and projects looking to integrate blockchain solutions.
This announcement shows that XCN is no longer just a coin, but is attempting to redefine itself as an ecosystem and a model of regulatory compliance. It is also a clear signal that XCN aims to go far beyond its current position. However, this process will not be easy. Achieving this level of regulatory alignment and system integration requires extensive engineering, consulting, legal structuring, and community management. Moreover, succeeding in a heavily regulated environment like the US is not something every crypto project can accomplish. Time will tell whether the project not only has the intention, but also the resources, knowledge, and manpower to succeed. Another important point hidden between the lines of the tweet is the phrase mature blockchain system. This implies that Onyx V2 is not just a test or beta version, but a long-term sustainable system being built. These types of systems are usually characterized by minimized security vulnerabilities, clearly defined use cases, and testing across a variety of user profiles. If Onyx V2 can truly reach this level, the reputation of XCN in the market could significantly improve. Strategic announcements like this also have a significant impact on investor psychology. Many investors position themselves not only based on technical analysis, but also based on project direction and vision. This announcement from XCN represents visionary leadership. However, one critical point to consider is that such ambitious plans require time, resources, and discipline. Projects that aim to be compliant must first increase their transparency and then build their legal infrastructure and become open to audits. This is a major but necessary step. In conclusion, this tweet from XCN is far more than a routine update announcement. The regulatory compliance goal that comes with Onyx V2 suggests that the project will be built on a solid legal foundation in addition to technological advancements. This could attract attention from both retail and institutional investors, strengthen XCN's market position, and lead to more sustainable long-term success. However, this is not a short-term or easy path. The realization of such a grand vision will require time, resources, and strategic consistency. With this tweet, XCN may have just taken the first step on that journey.
Yes, friends, I hope you liked the video. If you subscribe to my channel and like the video, more videos will be coming. Be careful in your investments, analyze the risks correctly, and always take strategic steps. I will be with you with different analyses, investment opportunities, and technical information in my videos. I wish you all a lot of profit. See you soon.